بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum, third secondary students. Welcome to the second semester of your book Traveler 6. And today we have a revision for Unit 1. And as usual, we start, for the objectives for today. We have 4, as you can see. Today we will learn 1. How to apply listening skills. 2. How to read fluently. 3. How to apply the passive. And 4. How to speculate and make a decision. So for number 1, I call on you from now to get your headphones ready because we're going to have some listening. And you will hear 3 sets of conversation and you will have multiple choice questions. Each one has A, B, and C, and 1 is correct. And for 2, we're going to read. I'm going to read for you, and I hope you follow with me. And for 3, we're going to remember how to use the passive voice. And finally, 4, we will try to speculate and make a decision, which is a speaking part. So here are some tips and advice for you, so you can start listening. And before you listen, we got some skills and some tips to remember. And also, while we listen, we have some tips and skills to remember. So for number 1, before you start listening, read the options carefully to get a general idea of what you're going to hear. 2, listen carefully to the dialogue and focus on the question. All 3 choices may be referred to the radio program. However, only one of them correctly answers that question. So let's get started with the first conversation, which is a radio program. So you're going to hear a radio program called People Who Have Made a Difference, in which you will hear someone talking about their career as a teacher. You will hear the program in several parts. After each part, you will hear 2 to 4 questions. For each question, choose the correct answer. Let's go.
Sorry about that. So, Dan, could you tell our listeners what made you decide to become a teacher?
My love of books. I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment in a poor neighborhood with my little brother and my father. My mother died when I was 4. We were always short of cash. There were times when we didn't have electricity because we couldn't pay the bills on time. But we had books, and I soon found out that they could take me anywhere. I could see the world without having to leave my room. I could have exciting adventures and live dangerously without risking my life.
1. Who brought Dan up? Two. What didn't Dan and his family have? Three. What did Dan like doing as a child?
So for the first one, I think his father brought Dan up, and they didn't have money for 2, and also Dan as a child liked reading a lot. So B goes for 1, and B also goes for 2, and A for 3. Let's hear the second conversation.
You certainly didn't have it easy.
No, I didn't. Of course I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Patrick Lynch. He wasn't only one of my professors at college. He was a great mentor and a wonderful person. Funnily enough, I didn't think much of him at first because he seemed so traditional. But all that changed once I got to know him better. He was a harsh critic and reduced me to tears on many occasions. However, I learnt a lot from him, and entered my profession with excitement and confidence instead of fear.
4. Who was Patrick Lynch? 5. What was Dan's first impression of Patrick? 6. How did Dan feel when he started teaching?
'So let's answer 4, 5, and 6. So for 4, Lynch was his professor, and for the beginning he didn't like him, and then he was afraid. So C goes for 4, and A goes for 5, and A also goes for 6. Let's hear another conversation also about Lynch or his, friend.
So what was your first day like? How did it feel?
Out of this world. I remember looking at my students and thinking, this is my destiny, to have this group of children before me. And a large group it was, I can tell you that. 30 kids. In some schools there will be 15 kids, 20 tops in a class. Anyway, I made up a story and gave them a funny speech about how strict I was and how I taught football players and prisoners, so a bunch of 5th graders wasn't much of a challenge.
7. What went through Dan's head on his first day? 8. How many students did Dan have? 9. Who were Dan's first students?
'So let's hear the answers for 7, 8, and 9. So for the beginning, he said he was made for this. It means he was ready for this. And the students, he had 30 students in one class, and his students were 5th graders. So that's the end of the listening part. Now let's go to the question. Since you're 3rd secondary, I'm sure now you're starting to think about your university life and where you go and what you're going to study in a college. So if you complete your high school study, which university you will choose to attend. You are supposed to have, prepared yourself for any university. Are you going to study inside Saudi Arabia? Are you going to travel to Europe or US or Canada? So it means you should have decided and really get yourself ready to know too many things about where you're going to study at. So if you're interested in studying at a university in an English-speaking country, what kind of information would you like to have? Would you like to have, some kind of information about the curriculum, about their English program, about their, technology they use, the books, and the fees, and any other papers that you need? You need to know all about these information. So let's assume that you're applied to Indiana University and you want to study there. So Indiana University, they have intensive English program for the beginning, which is a short of IEP. Let's read about it. So Indiana University Intensive English Program, the university. Indiana University was founded in 1820 and is one of the oldest and largest universities in the United States. It has over 100 academic departments. It is located in Bloomington, a dynamic, safe, and culturally sophisticated town. Just before we move to the other part, we have a word here which is in red, founded. I'm going to ask you about this word later. The IEP, which is the Intensive English Program, the goal of the Indiana University Intensive English Program, shortened as IEP, is to increase the English language skills of non-native English speakers to the level needed for study at a college or university in the US. Requirements for admission: all students admitted to the program must have earned at least a high school diploma. Curriculum: there are 7 levels in the IEP. All levels meet for 20 to 24 classroom hours each week. Levels 1 to 5 concentrate on listening, speaking, writing, and grammar. Level 6 is a high intermediate academic reading and writing class, which focuses mainly on writing. In level 7, students focus on written analysis of authentic text. At levels 6 and 7, students also select from a variety of courses in advanced grammar, advanced pronunciation, business, computer skills, communication, and literature. College and university placement: graduates of the Center of English Language Training have gone on to pursue careers in such areas as physics, art, chemistry, business, education, and even teaching. Housing: there's a wide variety of housing available in Bloomington for both married and single students. On-campus housing is arranged through the IU Hall of Residence. Campus apartments are all within walking distance of classes and are on the university bus route. Many off-campus apartments are located near campus or near city bus routes. Extracurricular activities: Bloomington and Indiana University offer a large variety of recreational activities and social events such as soccer, swimming, boating, tennis, and many other forms of exercise and relaxation are readily available. So we had some words in each page or in each slide about, written in red. So let's try to guess their meaning. Okay, so we're trying to guess the meaning of unknown words, and this is quite normal. You will have always some words that you don't know, but you will need to know their meanings through the context. So you're going to try to sense the meaning. So we had in the first one, Indiana University was founded in 1820. All students admitted to the program must have earned at least a high school diploma, and many other forms of exercise and relaxation are readily available. So the word founded here, does it mean discovered, established, or known? And the word admitted, does it mean agreed, promoted, allowed to join? And readily, does it mean willingly or easily or frequently? Of course, we've been through this before. So founded was established, and admitted agreed, and readily means willingly. Also, let's answer some questions about the text which are true or false. So answer true or false according to the information in the reading. So first, to be admitted to the IEP, students must have completed their secondary education. And 2, in level 7, students have more hours per week than in level 6. So to be admitted, of course, you must have completed your secondary education. So the first one is true, and the second one is false. Now read also the brochure and choose the correct option. In the text, we had this sentence: apparently the IEP is meant for somebody who's what? Is already studying at an American university, or for someone who comes from a non-English speaking country, or for someone who speaks English fluently, and of course it's about non-native English speaking country. Also, number two, according to the passage, after completing the IEP, students can do what? A, can have the necessary background to attend a university in the US, or can begin working for your university, or get a degree in English. And of course, they have what they need or the necessary background to attend university in the US. And three, students on the IEP intensive English program usually stay up late at night, have to study at least 24 hours per week, or have access to lots of entertainment. Of course, they have lots of entertainment to go to, and that was the last part of the reading. What kind of extracurriculum events does your school organize? Every school maybe have an open day. They also have a sports day. They have, a healthy food day. Too many, extracurricular celebration gathering they do, because the school is not only about books, also the school is a social community. So let's try to speak with you. You're trying in the classroom to have a speaking lesson, and you have students A and student B, or group A and group B, and they exchange opinions and questions and answers, and each one has to defend his own point of view. So you need to reach out for a decision. How do we reach out for the decision? So work in pairs. Students A read the situation, look at the pictures and ask the questions, and then student B read the information and answer students A's questions. Let's take an example. If you were in a situation like this: I am the president of the student council. We have decided to organize an extracurricular event that will bring the students together. However, first, we want to hear from other students like you about which option you think would be best. So you have the first option. You're trying to do some kind of an art exhibition held indoors, like this photo here. So you have advantages and disadvantages, and you need to convince others with the advantages and disadvantages. So the advantages for the art exhibition: one, students could submit and sell their own artwork. It is inexpensive to organize, and it isn't affected by weather conditions. So it's inside doors. It doesn't take too much money, so it's cheap to organize. And whatever happens outside with the weather, you don't care because it's indoors. One disadvantage: it might not be popular with students who are not artistic. Some students don't like arts, they don't like drawing, maybe they like football. So it's not gonna be, it's not gonna cover all students. Very few students maybe would go to the art exhibition. If we move to another option, you see these students in a school. The second option, you trying to do an outdoor sports day. So it has advantages and disadvantages. The first advantage is it would appeal to a wide range of students. Many students will come because some would like football, some would like basketball, volleyball, swimming, etc. So it's possible to raise money by selling refreshments. So there will be refreshments. Students would like to buy some cookies, some juice, some sandwiches. So you can raise some money. And also it has two disadvantages. It's expensive to organize, and also success depends on good weather. So if there's a storm or a windy day or a dust storm, you're going to cancel this. So what we have learned today, actually, we learned how to apply in the listening skills. We got multiple choice questions, and we read about Indiana University, and also we tried to speculate and make a decision throughout speaking. So that was all for today. These are the references. Now, for more information and lessons, you can visit our website, follow us on Twitter, and call us on this number. Thank you all for being here, and until I see you again, have a good day, and assalamu alaikum.